All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most exciting challenges there is, turning that brilliant idea you have into a real, actual business. We're going to walk you through the entire process and give you a complete roadmap from concept to company. So let's dive in. Okay, so you've got it. That brilliant one in a million idea for a product or a service that you just know is going to be huge. But then the big question hits. What's next? Where do I even begin? That feeling of uncertainty is exactly what we're here to solve today. Think about it. Every huge skyscraper, every amazing structure, it all starts with a solid plan. And that's exactly what this is. This is your blueprint, your step-by-step guide. We're giving you the roadmap to build your business from the ground up so you can make sure you've got a foundation that's built to last. All right, here we go. This is your first big fork in the road. And believe me, this is so much more than just paperwork. Choosing your business structure is a huge decision that's going to define your legal responsibilities, how you pay taxes, and maybe most importantly, your personal financial risk. Let's break down the options. So let's lay out the main players here. On one hand, you've got a sole proprietorship. That's just you. Simple, easy to start, but it has one major catch we'll talk about in a second. Then there's a partnership, which lets you team up with others to bring in more cash and more skills. And finally, you have the private company, which is a bit more formal, but comes with a game-changing feature called limited liability. Okay, so you might hear this term legal personality thrown around. What on earth does that actually mean? Well, the easiest way to think about it is this. When you form a private company, it literally becomes its own person in the eyes of the law. It can own property, sign contracts, and even get sued, all completely separate from you, the owner. This separation is everything. And this is why that whole legal person thing is such a massive deal. If you're a sole proprietor or in a partnership, you have unlimited liability. That means if the business goes into debt, creditors can come after your house, your car, your personal savings, everything. But with a private company's limited liability, your personal assets are shielded. The company is its own person, so only the money invested in the business is on the line. That's a huge, huge difference. Now, liability is the big one, for sure, but it's not the whole story. You've also got to think about other things, like what happens to the business if you decide to leave? How does this affect your personal taxes? How much paperwork is involved? And a really big one, if you ever want to get outside investors, you'll almost certainly need a private company structure so you can sell them shares. Okay, decision made. You've picked your structure. Now what? Well, now it's time to make it official. This is where we get into the paperwork to make sure your new business is legally recognized and ready to rock and roll. So if you want the private company route, the process is pretty straightforward. First, you reserve a unique name that nobody else has. Second, you draw up the company's rulebook, basically. Third, you submit all that paperwork. And finally, you get your certificate of incorporation. Think of that certificate as the official birth certificate for your business. It's now a real legal entity. Okay, this next part is super important because this applies to everybody, no matter which structure you picked. These are your legal duties. You've got to register with the tax authorities. If you have employees, you have to register for unemployment insurance, and you need to register for workers' compensation. These are totally non-negotiable. All right, the legal stuff is sorted. Your business officially exists. Now it's time to build the engine that actually makes it go. So let's pop the hood and take a look at the essential parts that have to work together to make your company run. First part of that engine, marketing. And look, marketing is way more than just running a few ads. The marketing function is really about everything you do to connect your product with the customer who needs it. It's the bridge between what you've made and the person who's going to buy it. You've probably heard of the 4 Ps, right? It's a classic for a reason. You've got your product, what is it, and why is it great? Your price, is it competitive but also profitable? Your place, where can people actually get it? And finally, promotion. How are you going to tell the world it exists? Nail these 4, and you've got a solid marketing engine. Okay. Every engine needs fuel, right? In business, that fuel is money. And that's where the financial function comes in. It's all about figuring out how much cash do you need to get going? Where are you going to get it? And once you have it, how are you going to manage it so you don't run out? And again, this isn't some abstract theory. We're talking about real, practical stuff you need to do from day one. Get a simple system to track your money, make a budget for your cash flow, get to know your bank manager, insure your important stuff. All these little things build a financially healthy business. Now we get to the absolute heart of the machine, the operations function. This is where the magic really happens.
This is the core process where you take your ingredients, your materials, your labor, your expertise, and you transform them into the final product or service that you're actually going to sell. You can think of it as a really simple 3-step journey. It all starts with your inputs, your idea, your money, your people, your raw materials. Then comes the transformation, where all that stuff gets processed, assembled, or built. And out the other side comes your outputs, the finished products, ready to go. Now, obviously, a real business engine is a bit more complex. Along with marketing, finance, and operations, you've also got other vital parts. Think human resources for managing your team, purchasing for sourcing your supplies, and information management for handling all your data. They all need to work together smoothly. So the legal side is done, you've built the engine. But a car doesn't go anywhere without a driver. And guess what? As the entrepreneur, that's you. So let's talk about what it actually means to get in that driver's seat and steer the company. So what does being the driver actually mean? It means taking on the role of general management. And your job can be broken down into 4 main activities that you'll be doing all the time: planning, organizing, leading, and control. Let's break that down. First, you've got planning. That's all about figuring out where you're going. What's the goal? What's the destination? Then you have organizing. That's about getting the car ready for the trip, arranging your people and your resources in the best way possible to make the plan happen. Next up is leading. This is the human part. It's about inspiring everyone in the car, getting them excited for the journey, and making sure you're all working together. And finally, there's control. Think of this as checking the GPS. You set your standards, you measure if you're hitting them, and if you're veering off course, you take action to steer back. And that's it. That's the roadmap. From the legal foundation to the business engine to your role as the one in the driver's seat, you have the blueprint. So the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build?